Okay, welcome listeners to a very special episode of Arts and Crimes. A couple reasons. One, we're doing a radio show version of The Shadow, requested by at least one listener. This is for you, Becky.
It's so easy to get us to do stuff. If one person says.
It's so true. But we have a special
Absolutely.
guest. We have a special guest today. So I'm here, Kelly, and then there's the normal people that are here.
Brandon.
Josh.
And then we have our special guest,
Ember.
and she's going to help us do the reading for The Shadow. So we're not doing an exact recreation of the episode because the script that I found didn't have all of the dialogue, and I just thought instead of trying to write down the missing dialogue, because I found the episode and I listened to it, instead I'm just going to bring in a narrator and we're going to read it like more or less what it was written. I got rid of a few things, but we have 2 commercials we're going to leave in there that were like old-timey commercials, and we're just going to go with the flow. So if you want like the real serious episode of The Shadow, this is the very first episode that aired. This is called The Death House Rescue, and it first aired September 9th, 1937. And I will link there's a YouTube video of it, and I'll link that so you can watch that if you are interested. This, however, will not be the serious version, but our sweeted version, a recreation. So without further ado.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The Shadow knows.
I'm so excited for this voice to come back.
If I can recreate it.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
And that's your commercial.
All right. Blue Coal presents The Shadow, a man of mystery who strikes terror into the very souls of sharpsters, lawbreakers, and criminals. All signs point to a severe winter. Be prepared if you want to be sure of even dependable, healthful heat in any kind of weather. Insist on Blue Coal, America's finest anthracite, mined from the fields of northern Pennsylvania. The coal that is colored a harmless blue at the mine for your protection. For some reason.
Sound of a man rattling on the bars of his cage. His voice is desperate, tearful.
You can't take me to the chair. You can't do it. Let me out of here. Let me.
A voice. An eerie voice.
Paul Gordon.
Eh?
Listen,
I can't see anybody. Who's that?
I am the Shadow. Stop. We haven't much time. We must hurry, Gordon. You're in the death house, charged with murder.
Yes, I'm innocent. I'm innocent, but nobody knows it.
Take courage, Gordon. The Shadow knows.
All right, Margot, won't you sit down?
It's the voice of the Shadow, but not as eerie. A normal voice. A slightly nasal, upper-class young man about town voice.
I told Abdul to serve our coffee here in the library, unless you'd rather go on the terrace.
No,
Says Margot in pensive tones.
I prefer it here.
Then let me see you smile. That frown is most unbecoming.
Lamont,
Margot says earnestly.
give it up.
Give what up, my dear? Drinking coffee?
I'm serious, Lamont Cranston. When I foolishly let you know that, do you remember what you said? It will be exactly 5 years next week.
But there's still so much to do, Margot.
Well, then let somebody else do it. Don't you realize that you can't keep on like this forever? Someone's certainly going to identify you. And when that someone does, someone else is certain to kill you.
Perhaps, but until they do, Darling, stop frowning.
I don't mean necessarily to give up your work, Lamont, but this other, let the shadow just disappear and come out openly. Join the organized forces of law and police.
Won't you realize, Margot, that my entire usefulness to the organized forces of law and police lies in my remaining outside those forces, in remaining always the shadow? Would they approve my methods? Would they believe in my science?
You would make them believe. You could make them believe.
And in so doing, reveal my secrets, my knowledge, reveal them and eventually let them fall into the hands of organized crime. No, Margot, no one must ever know. No one but you. Why do you think I've devoted countless hours to investigating electrical and chemical phenomena? Why do you think I went to India, to Egypt, to China? What do you think I studied in London, Paris, and Vienna? Except to learn the old mysteries that modern science has not yet rediscovered. The natural magic modern psychology is beginning to understand. And, well, magic that wouldn't seem so natural. I studied and learned for a purpose, my dear.
All right, Lamont, I realize all that, but now the entire underworld has but one objective, to erase the shadow. And to me that means...
Until they know what the shadow is and who he is, what can they do? Stop and think how many criminals are either dead or in prison because of our activities. Why, even now, tonight, as we sit quietly here, somewhere an innocent human being may be in desperate trouble. Somewhere, perhaps, there is a problem that can never be solved except by the shadow.
What did the doctor say, Grace?
It's Paul Gordon's voice again, calmer this time. We've obviously gone back in time to discover how he ended up in the death house.
It was good news. And bad, too, I'm afraid, dear.
Well, whatever it was, dear, tell me.
Well, he said the baby would be perfectly well again within a year.
Thank God for that. Poor kid, she's had a tough time. Well, what else?
This part isn't so good, Paul. She'll need treatments during all that time. Paul, treatments cost money.
I know. Well, we'll have to manage somehow. You didn't do a very good job marrying me. I got surprised by my weird statement. Let me try again. I know. Well, we'll have to manage somehow. You didn't do a very good job marrying me, dear.
Darling.
If I could only get a job, I've got my health and I've got my brains, but no one seems to want them.
Well, they will, dear. They've got to.
You're right, dear. We're just about down to rock bottom. I've raised every cent I can on a house and car. There isn't anything left.
You and I are still left, Paul, and we've got to take care of Sally. She's our daughter, Paul, and she's got to...
This
she's
exposition is amazing.
She's our daughter, Paul. And she's got to have her
She's a beautiful 3 pound, 7 ounce daughter
Darling.
with blonde hair and blue eyes. Down here, I'm holding her in my arms. Look at her.
Look at her with
Cherubic
your beautiful
face.
green eyes, Paul.
Yes.
And she's got to have her chance.
And she's going to have it. Somehow. Tomorrow, I'll start out and take anything I can get.
Darling, perhaps tomorrow things will break for us.
Yes. If only they don't break the wrong way. Foreshadowing.
Sound of men talking, people working. It's a restaurant.
Excuse me, but are you the boss here?
That's all right.
I'm looking for a job.
Nothing doing, buddy.
I'll do anything. Wait on table, wash dishes, anything at all.
I don't need any more help.
But how about delivering things? I've got a car.
Nope, I don't deliver nothing. Sorry, don't need ya.
I see. All right, thanks.
Hey, you, bud.
What? You calling to me?
Yeah, sit down.
Paul Gordon sits. The man introduces his friend Lefty and himself, Red. Red gives Gordon a proposition.
We need a car, and we need someone to drive it for us. You understand?
Gordon clearly doesn't understand.
Well, I've got a car.
he says eagerly.
Is it a good car? Has it got speed?
They arrange to meet Gordon the next morning, right in front of the Uptown Bank.
We gotta go there first to cash a check.
Lefty says innocently. Gordon shows up the next morning in front of the bank at 9 in the morning, as instructed. A cop approaches him, tells him to move.
Don't you see that sign? No parking.
Oh, I'm not parking, officer. I'm waiting for a couple of men. I'm working for them.
Oh.
Says the cop, and as he speaks, there's the sound of gunshots.
Hey, what's that?
Noises and sounds of confusion as Red and Lefty appear and order Gordon to start driving, or they'll shoot him. Gordon drives. Red continues shooting out the back of the car.
We should never have shot that cop.
Red comments.
Say, let me out of this.
Says Gordon, panic-stricken.
Take the car. They'll think I'm with you.
That's just what we're figuring on.
Red says cruelly. Red and Lefty bail at the next curve, leaving Gordon alone in the car with planted evidence, a bag full of money and a gun. The police don't believe Gordon's denials.
And you say you're innocent. It'll take more than saying so to keep you out of the electric chair.
Courtroom. The judge reads out the verdict.
Paul Gordon, the jury has found you guilty. I direct that you be taken from here to the place whence you came and be put to death. And may God have mercy on your soul.
There's the sound of laughter, which irritates the judge to no end.
The laughter came from that corner.
But there's no one in that corner. Only a shadow. Go to sleep, dear. Mother will be right here in the next room.
As soon as Mrs. Gordon gets into the next room, she lets her calm facade drop. She's so worried about her husband, she's practically in tears. At this point, Margot Lane knocks on the door. She gives Mrs. Gordon $1,000 in cash and tells Mrs. Gordon not to lose hope. I almost did the cop voice.
There's hope for Paul, then?
Mrs. Gordon says anxiously.
The man who sent this to you never fails. Yeah, well, Lefty, tonight the fall guy goes to the chair.
That's what he gets for being a sucker.
Yeah, there's not a clue that even points our way.
Not even a print. We had gloves on the whole time.
You had yours off for a minute when you were sitting next to him.
How convenient.
Yeah, but I didn't touch the wheel.
And we ain't left a clue.
You think so?
What? Who said that?
It was I. You cannot see me. I am here in the room, in the shadow. You have pinned your crime on an innocent man. He shall not suffer, but you will.
Yeah, I don't know who you are or where you are, but you're bluffing anyway. You got no evidence. We didn't leave a clue.
You did leave a clue that will send you to the chair. Keep thinking about it. Keep thinking about the clue that you forgot.
Ominous music.
Somebody gotta make some ominous music.
Margot Lane. Paul Gordon is in the death house and is to die in the chair tonight. I am going to him now. We can still save him. Stand by for orders.
In a few moments, we will return to the shadow, but before we do, let me stress this one fact. For home heating, anthracite is best, and America's finest anthracite is blue coal. Anthracite is the healthful fuel. It gives steady, uniform heat that helps prevent colds and cuts down. What does it cut down? Doctor's bills, that's right. With anthracite, there is no quick chilling of the house such as you get with fuels of the on and off type, or with quick burning fuels that flare up and burn out. Bear in mind that heating plants in this part of the country were especially designed to burn anthracite. So before that cold snap catches you unaware, call your local blue coal dealer. You'll find his name listed under the Where to Buy It section in your classified directory under the words blue coal. Call him tomorrow and order a supply of America's finest anthracite.
The death house. Paul Gordon asked the warden if there is any news from the governor, but the governor has refused to take any action. His execution is scheduled for 11 o'clock that night.
What time is it now?
Almost 10.
Gordon is moved into another cell by 2 guards closer to the electric chair.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Gordon is moved into another cell by 2 guards closer to the electric chair. They go into the preparation room. One of the guards, however, is not who he seems. He knocks out the other guard, and his voice takes on the tones of the shadow. He also disappears back into the shadows.
Now, Gordon, listen to me. No crime is perfect. There's always somewhere a loose end. The only reason that all crimes aren't solved is because there's some one fact that someone knows and doesn't tell. And sometimes they don't tell because they don't know that they know.
I told everything I know in court, but they wouldn't believe me then.
Because you couldn't prove what you said. We're going after the proof now, you and I. I'm going to think with your mind. Don't try to understand. I want you to concentrate, Gordon. Fix your mind on everything that happened that day. Make mental pictures. I'll see what you will see.
After a false start, Gordon is thinking about his wife and baby instead.
She's quite the looker.
The truth is revealed.
Like television?
Or mind reading.
Gordon thinks back to the event, and in his mind, the shadow describes what he's seeing. He sees the gunman, Lefty, sitting in the front of the car with Gordon. He sees Lefty reach up with the gloveless hand to adjust the rearview mirror.
Gordon, now I can save you.
Sounds of a restaurant, Lefty in red.
Red, you're a fool for coming here again. This is the place where we picked up that kid that's burning tonight. What you want to come in here for?
There's a telephone call for Lefty. He picks up the receiver and the shadow laughs.
Who are you? What do you want?
I want justice. Justice for Paul Gordon, Lefty.
The shadow mentions the fingerprint on the rearview mirror of the car.
If the police find that fingerprint, you'll burn, Lefty.
Lefty grabs Red and they head for Gordon's house. The car is in the garage and they've got to wipe Lefty's fingerprints off that rearview mirror. Margot Lane has gone to Commissioner Weston, begging him to send some men to the Gordon garage to catch Lefty and Red and see that justice is done. Back in the death house, the guards have come for Gordon. The prisoners bid him farewell as they walk down the hallway. They're bringing him into the room with the electric chair. Gordon begs them not to take him.
Where are you? Please come back.
He's talking to the shadowy figure who promised he'd be saved. Just at that very second, another man runs up and tells the warden that the governor is on the phone. He informs everyone that the police caught Lefty and Red in the Gordon garage trying to wipe out some fingerprints.
Gordon, did you hear that? The governor saved you.
No, it wasn't the governor. It was somebody else. I never really saw him. He was only a shadow.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay. The shadow knows. Blue coal.
And scene. Thank you for this special edition of Arts and Crimes, a reading of The Shadow. So go do some art, don't do any crime, and happy holidays.
Sound of a man rattling on the bars of his cage. His voice is desperate, tearful.
Suck.
I'll be great.
Okay, what did the doctor say, Grace?
It was good news.
Okay.
You think so?
Who said that?
It was I. You cannot see me. What? No. Why is that? 100% different voice. first. Now I have to go back to the first line. Now, Gordon, listen to me. That other voice sucked, and I'm doing this one now. The only reason I should do the regular voice. And since we got that figured out, can you think about your wife some more? Don't include that part. But I thought it was
Click. It's a crank call. Some wacko called me.
Don't waste your good accent on wrong lines.